Welcome to Q Up. We're at the Blue Door Theater, 815 West Garland Avenue in Spokane. And don't necessarily look for a blue door, but look for the Blue Door Theater. Ann Johnston, business director for the Blue Door Theater, right? Frank Tomko.
Tano.
Tonto, oh, see, I did it again, but okay, we're just gonna roll.
That's fine, that's fine.
Because I was improvising and I wanted to call you Tonto.
That's all right. That's okay.
Why did it come to mind, you know? Because you've got that kind of feisty.
Everyone has their own word association.
See? And isn't that a little bit about what improv is all about, is associating things?
That's right. It's actually a lot about what improv is about and what we use on the stage. We all bring our own personal histories to the stage when we create our characters and do our things. It doesn't mean you should judge us if we come up with a character that's, you know, a bit of a jerk. But we're probably basing it off of a jerk we knew.
Right.
So, yes.
And you know, quite frankly, I remember names by associating either, you know, my first impression or something. And so I think we do that a lot. And so I've been called Deborah for some reason by hundreds. I'm not kidding, over 100 people. So somewhere there's a Deborah.
Somewhere.
That's the, but I'm Brenda. And Ann,
Yeah.
tell me about the Blue Door Theater. And you know, how long has it been really operational here?
We have been in Spokane for 12 years, and we just celebrated our 7th birthday as a nonprofit. So that was yesterday, actually. And
Congratulations.
thanks. And yeah, so we've been around for over a decade.
Now, as a nonprofit, and we talked to a lot of people that have nonprofit agencies, did that allow you to get some support and some funding along the way to keep going?
It lets us get donations. We haven't actually taken the advantage of writing grants and getting funded that way, but it allows us to get donations and do fundraisers.
And primarily, are those just local people? Have some companies step forward?
Yeah,
and
we have a
help
few.
out some?
Yeah, a few companies, mostly just parents and friends, and then the people who love the theater.
You know, I like that aspect about it too, the fact that it's community supported then. So what you're doing here has drawn enough of the community to actually give some money. Now that's certainly a strong point in your favor.
Exactly.
So you've been doing improv basically, comedy improv. Explain a little bit, you know, you both can kind of just chime in as to what prompted you to get involved with this type of theater.
Well, me personally, it was a friend of mine who convinced me to come watch her perform, and I instantly fell in love with it because it was so funny. And I've been here ever since, and that's going on 9 years.
That's excellent, because that really means you have a passion for it too.
Yep.
And Frank, did you like to goof off when you were a kid? Did you like to show off?
No, actually did not like
No.
showing off. I was wallflower, shy guy. I mean, totally.
Really?
No. And then I went to college, liberal arts, and you know that just changes everybody. And after that, I came out of my shell a little bit, but I started actually experimenting with stand-up first. And then where I was in Alaska, there wasn't a lot of venues to do stand-up, but they had an improv troupe that open auditions. I thought, well, at least I'll be in front of people and get used to not having the stage fright. But from there, the improv actually grew into its own thing, and I've been hooked ever since. And then I moved here to Spokane and discovered the Blue Door, and here I am.
Well, improv, is it really standard in a lot of cities having a comedy improv, or more the stand-up comedy like you said you were trying to do in Alaska?
Actually, both are really not standard, I guess you could say. I mean, there are levels of clubs you can go to that have, you know, oh, we got stand-up, and it's oh boy. And there's the same thing. Oh, we got improv, and it's oh boy. Or, oh, we've got improv, and it's amazing, you know, like the Blue Door Theater, or say Second City, or the Upright Citizens Brigade,
Or
those
Unexpected
kind of things.
Productions.
Unexpected Productions, Seattle.
Okay,
so yeah,
see, that's one I've heard of.
So yeah, it's not really standard. There are venues. It's become more popular. It certainly has.
That was my next question, because was it around a long time ago and maybe it died out and came back, or is this a new kind of generation
No,
thing?
it's been around. It's kind
the
of been an
80s.
underground thing, yeah, where it's just like, ooh, I know this little theater thing they make. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, and then the art form itself has been around for a long time, but no, it is only now just started gaining popularity, and I think it's partly because people are looking for something different, and then they're rediscovering these old things. And what's great about, you know, putting on an improv show, like a long form show that we do, is unlike a traditional theater, we don't have to spend money on a huge set design or huge costumes and all of that, or props, because we can do it all. So really, in truth, anybody can start up an improv troupe, just like anybody can start up a garage band kind of thing, you know, as long as you got the instruments. But we don't even need the instruments. So it's
you can
great.
do your own sounds too.
Yeah, so it's become more popular. It's a little more accessible art form. It's a difficult one to master, but it is a more accessible art form for a lot of people, and I think that's what's driving a lot of it.
I think too that the variety that you can do, you know, with it is much broader than most stage plays and, you know, scripted and memorization and all that.
Yeah, because like in a single show, we can have an underwater scene, a space scene, a land scene, several different buildings and casts of hundreds, and we don't have to shell out any money.
Yeah, that's the best part,
Except
right?
to keep this wonderful place running. So yeah, I mean, so that's great.
Here at the Blue Door Theater, we're going to continue to talk with Anne and Frank and the many varieties of ways in which you perform, which basically is off the cuff and off the top of your head, right?
Correct.
Improv.
And all based on audience suggestions.
Ooh, that's probably even a little harder, right?
Yeah, it can get interesting.
What are some of the more interesting ones that have, you know, just kind of stopped you dead and you had to really just go, oh my gosh, can I pull this off?
Well, there was one that was actually quite interesting that we had recently, and it wasn't so much a, well, how can I pull this off, but just an audience member that was paying attention, and we did a scene previously in the show, and it didn't work very well. We saved it later through the reincorporation we do, and I think that the audience was like, what is something that is awkward? We asked the audience, and they had basically repeated what that scene was.
Yeah, okay.
You crazy kid. So we ended up. But no, there have been times where, well, there was a game that I had done. It's a game called Stimulus Response, and what you do is you get triggers essentially, like you know, a hypnotist hypnotizes you, and like every time I say burrito, you're gonna act like a chicken. That's basically kind of what Stimulus Response is. So so neither improviser knows what their stimulus is going to be or what they are going to do to trigger somebody else. So we get them all, you know, everyone can't hear. So I had asked someone like, you see this player every time they do something, they're like, every time they blink their eyes. Okay, every time they blink their eyes, what's something I can do? And they're like, a backflip.
Oh, yeah.
While I am a healthy individual, I am nowhere near able to do a backflip. But, you know, you take the offers that you can. So I said, all right, I can't do a backflip for sure. I will do my best. And they were happy with that. And I basically did a kind of twisting cartwheel thing, but they loved it. They loved it. You know, you do so. It's like, oh, how am I going to
Do what you can.
do what you can? You do what you can, because another thing we say is, you know, we're an expert at everything. So if you get a suggestion for it, I'm like, what is? Tell me the title of a movie, and they're like, and they give you a title of a movie you've never seen before. The best you can do is just break down what the title means to you. You know, it's like if you get, say, Planet of the Apes, and you've never seen, I don't know how, but if you've never seen Planet of the Apes,
Yeah, really.
either the classic
Everybody's seen
or
it.
the remake, whichever. Whichever. I'm not going to judge which was better. But if you get there, you're like, well, you know that A, there's a planet, B, there are apes.
Yeah.
Use that as best you can, because that's what you got. So.
Well, and it's a lot like what I play, younger years, charades, and now I've seen my grandkids. It's a whole different kind of game, and one of the games is called Seen It. You know, have you seen it? But they've got to act it out. So I'm encouraged by that. What other types of shows have you put on here?
Well, we put on a show where we made a movie and debut the trailer here before everybody at the end, all made up off of different suggestions. But what comes to mind when you say that is all of our kids' classes and what we offer for the youth and teens in Spokane and the surrounding areas.
Now, about how young can, you know, a kid come in and start learning how to kind of be a little goofy and get away with it and actually, you know, be prompted to say that's being creative, not silly.
Yeah, from 7 to 17, those are the ages.
Oh, that's good.